The larger the city, the greater the attraction. This is the secret of the Silk Road. From the east to the west, there are always some cities that the world revolves around. They have their rises and falls, prosperity and decline, and competition and interaction between one another. They are the cities of the world. As time goes on, the face of the Silk Road has changed. Yet the surging motivation within people's hearts has never faded. This is a brand new Silk Road. This is a brand new story on the Silk Road. Ren Jun, 51 years old, the most famous city sculptor in Xi'an. Contemporary art and city sculptures originated from the western end of the Silk Road. Artists must emerge from their studies towards a greater, broader stage, the public space of a city.
China's public art is mainly supported by the government. The government officials want to express their thoughts on the city at different ages. Of course, these thoughts don't refer to their individual thoughts, rather, I think, a sort of collective will.
Xi'an was once the starting point of the Silk Road in the east. Today, it has a strong desire to become a city of the world once again. In fact, China has always been searching for the chance to explore and rebuild the way towards the Eurasian continent. And Xi'an is the best starting point. Today, in Xi'an city sculptures, we can still see the glory of the past when all paid homage to China.
These are the proposals. The stage steps are 30 meters high. Ebony at a total height of over 90 meters. This is the Qin Shi Huang, worth over $400 million.
The way Qin Shi Huang was sculpted is clearly Western art. It was made by sculptors who trained under those Russian sculptors.
Xi'an is developing an ambitious city development project. The theme being China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. Ren Jun is going to create a large-scale city sculpture for this purpose. He must spend large amounts of time interacting with government officials. This is an important challenge in his professional career. Currently, in the west of the city, the government is planning to construct a new Xi'an area in the Shenyang Development Zone, integrating the two cities that are 30 kilometers apart.
Regarding the new Xi'an-Shenyang district, the idea Shanxi province has is to go around the main city of Xi'an along River Wei and River Feng to form certain city clusters.
This layout looks grand and presentable with a kind of ambitiousness.
This is like the spectator stands in a stadium, and the competition grounds is down there along River Wei, just like the Colosseum in Rome.
Ren Jun has been in public art for 22 years. His work can be seen in Xi'an and many other cities. City sculptures carry a distinct brand of its age. Artists must feel the spirit of the city sooner than others.
When I listen to these government officials from the north to the south, most talk about passion, that we should aim upwards, be proactive. They are particularly obvious in this spiritual appeal, and when we express this appeal through sculptures, something that our art education never prepared us for, you can imagine how scary it is.
Xi'an is a unique city, a blend of the pride of having 2,000 years of history and a pressing need to return to the peak of the world. Renjun must find the most suitable expression for this city's sentiments.
City sculptures are also an extreme mix. I am mixing not only my own feelings, but also the government's objectives and the city's desires.
Xi'an was once the most famous city in the world on the Silk Road. Back then, it was called Chang'an. There is no city like Xi'an. Every day, new archaeological sites are being excavated. In the northwest corner of Xi'an City, archaeologists are cleaning up the sandy land on the river bend of the old River Wei. There is a bridge there that has been used for over 1,000 years. It was once called Zhongwei Bridge. Historical records and archaeological evidence show that Zhongwei Bridge was a vital point in heading towards the west from Chang'an, a former starting point of the Silk Road, and a gate to the country that was open to the world. Back then, travelers from Eurasia passed through this bridge to end their long journey and enter Chang'an. Over 1,000 years ago, the most popular music in China came from Kucha. The perfume women used came from India. And the riding outfits with tight sleeves that people wore were called Hu clothing. Chang'an was the starting point of the ancient Silk Road. Going along this road to the west would extend to another great empire, Rome. The Tang Dynasty lasted 3 centuries, and its capital, Chang'an, was the world's most prosperous international city, with a population of up to 2 million and an unimaginable number of migrants. Those who came from the Silk Road were adventurers, the ambitious, ambassadors, monks, and businessmen. The descendants of those travelers back then still live in Xi'an today. In the heart of the city, in the area called Hui Place, there live 300,000 residents. Most of them are descendants of Central or even South Asian migrants. Community workstations are the smallest management unit in a Chinese city. There you can see the operation details of the city for the day.
I called you a day ago and you said you couldn't take the shift, right? You said you couldn't take the shift the next day, right? Did you come to the shift?
No. Listen, my child is 34 now. I found him a girl. It's been a few days. I've been preparing him mentally. It's making me so anxious.
I tried calling you. Your phone was off. I definitely notified you if she needed you to come on shift, no matter what reason you might have, if you failed to come to shift 3 times. But you were notified on this, so you just have to remember this.
7th of July, 5th of August, I went to all of them. How would I know to come again the next day?
Su Yiting is 26, the youngest community chief in Xi'an. Her wedding is coming up, but with so many trivial things in her everyday job, she almost doesn't have time to plan for her own wedding.
I'm sure no one likes to fight with others. We all like to settle things amicably. However, the problem is, not everything can be resolved smoothly here. I feel so wronged. I'm telling you, whatever you should be paid, you will be, but you mustn't do this kind of thing again. That's why the secretary was angry just now. No matter what, unless you were sick and couldn't come yourself. Fine. I'm just telling you about this. Just remember it.
Hui Place is a predominantly Muslim settlement. The descendants of those travelers on the Silk Road long ago took a long time to reach Xi'an. The tolerance of the city have made them forget their one-time hometown. However, the Muslims here still retain their culture and traditions. Its unique exoticness have made Hui Place a famous tourist spot in Xi'an. With so many tourists, there are also many matters to deal with. Hui Place has existed for centuries. And compared to the residents of the city, the people here seem even more like natives.
There are all kinds of people in the community. First and foremost, it can train your communication skills, ability to express, coordinate and organize.
Sui Ting has been a grassroots manager for 3 years now.
I'm quite good at communicating with others and can grasp what they are thinking quite quickly, especially since I studied law. So when there are conflicts or some other matters, I'm able to know more quickly how to resolve them.
Huajuexiang Mosque, located in the community Sui Ting is in, is the biggest temple in Hui Place, with the longest history. Since Islam spread to China, Muslims have tended to live nearby the local mosque in the city in which they live, and this mode of settlement is true to this day. From one mosque in one small community, we can see the tolerance of the Silk Road and how this former city of the world attracted its population and cultures. Whether a city has a glorious history is no longer a condition in becoming a city of the world. On the other side of Eurasia, Dubai, situated by the Persian Gulf, only took a century to emerge and prosper. In the desert on the east of Dubai, there is a unique building. It is a wholesale market. The sign of the building came from the Far East, and its name was directly translated from Chinese, Dubai Dragon Mart. Dragon Mart's general manager, Omar, inspects the complex every day. Dragon Mart has an extremely high turnover rate in its stores, so Omar must familiarize himself with the Chinese faces as much as possible.
Yeah, you can find everything. There is the electronics, which is very popular with a certain number of people. There is building material, which is actually very, very popular with the contractors.
Hi, how are you? Very good. Now Dragon Mart, perfect.
Omar interacts most with the Chinese on a daily basis.
There is machinery and equipment, which is very popular also. We have furniture, we have a whole zone of furniture. All of them are having their customers, basically.
8 years ago, China collaborated with the UAE to set up the biggest commodity distribution center in the Middle East, so as to open up trade relations with the Arabic world. That center was Dubai Dragon Mart. It was a most imaginative project. The complex has a construction area of 180,000 square meters and manages tens of thousands of different Chinese products. 63-year-old Pan Shangshu is planning to open her second store in Dragon Mart. 8 years ago, Pan Shangshu sold 2 well-operated hotels and a commercial firm to leave her hometown, Anhui, and come to do business in Dubai.
I don't know exactly where Dubai is, but I searched it on the internet. This is a Muslim country. They can't eat pork or drink alcohol. So I came feeling very confident in myself.
He asked where the products are from.
The mainland.
When you will open your supermarket upstairs?
Yeah.
When you open?
Soon.
At first, Dragon Mart lacked supporting facilities, and customers couldn't even buy drinking water inside. Pan Shangshu noticed a business opportunity in there and decided to start a new business in the desert.
I was the first one to open a supermarket in Dragon Mart. It was only this big then, only 18 square meters. 2 shops from over here.
Pan Shangshu knows how attached the Chinese are to food from home, so she provided instant noodles, preserved vegetables, and various other foods imported from China in her supermarket.
When I first opened shop, we only made 38 dirham the first day. It was tragic. We, and also the other vendors who were here, made almost no money every day. It was pretty bad.
For the first 3 years, none of the businesses in Dragon Mart saw any improvement. Over half the vendors chose to give up.
I never considered giving up. I have faith that Dragon Mart will become one of the biggest trade platforms between China and the UAE because it has an edge on economic strategy. That's why I said I wouldn't give up on it.
Dragon Mart is a miniature of Dubai's development. As a city, Dubai only has a history of 150 years and only started developing rapidly in the last decade or so. Previously, it was only a small fishing port which produced and traded pearls. Compared to the cities on the Silk Road, which easily have thousands of years of history, Dubai is just too young. However, this is the secret. As long as it can become a hub on the Silk Road and the center of the world, it can become a legend. The history of the Silk Road is also the history of a city's rise and decline. Walking along today's Silk Road, we can see everywhere traces of what once were cities. Many former cities of the world have been lost in the wind and sand, leaving behind only ruins for tourists to ponder on. Cities must do more and be more proactive in order to stand out among the competition and globalization. In Xi'an and Dubai, we can see the city's ambition and tolerance. These are prerequisites to becoming a city of the world. The story of the rise of Dubai also happened in China. Shanghai, the east end of Eurasia, the most populated city in China. 59-year-old Jaeger may be the busiest architect in Shanghai.
Well, you know, when I was young, when I was probably in college or in university, they talked about Shanghai being the Paris of the Orient. I think it's easy to come here and have an adventure. We didn't get it
Jaeger's
before.
adventure now is to lead his firm and complete 5 to 6 architectural design proposals every week, participating in over 200 projects every year. These architectural projects are scattered all over the world, involving over $1.6 billion in project capital.
People live in cities, particularly here in China, and we're moving into a time when cities are becoming even more important, even more challenging than they have been in the past.
Shanghai's road to becoming a city of the world can absolutely be compared to Dubai. 150 years ago, this was still a small fishing village on the East Pacific. Now, it is the most vibrant region in the world. At the moment, the most important project for Jaeger's architectural firm is its involvement in the planning of the Shanghai Hongqiao Business Hub. The world's biggest transportation and business hub is going to be constructed in West Shanghai, one that brings together 8 modes of transport, including flight, railway, and motorways, to connect it easily with the world. From a certain perspective, Shanghai's Hongqiao is an upgraded version of Zhongwei Bridge in Chang'an back in the day.
In many ways, I think the Hongqiao transportation hub, to me, it's a world-class development. It's the first time in history, I think.
We are building this city to be the most advanced and integrating all cutting-edge ideas into the Hongqiao Business Hub.
Shanghai is an ambitious city. It needs to play at a world stage. And I think of all the cities in China, it's the one that is on the right path.
The architectural firm Jaeger works for is one of the largest architectural planning and design firms in the world. As Shanghai continues its urbanization, Jaeger has also progressed from an architect to the firm's experienced partner in 9 years' time. In Shanghai, he is a successful adventurer. Of course, Shanghai will continue to attract more people to come in. Shanghai has a population of 23 million, meaning there are 23 million different ways of living. Kazakh young man Hao Lan from Xinjiang enjoys gatherings with those from his hometown the most.
My internet name. No. My name is Hao Lan.
Every Wednesday and Saturday, Hao Lan attends a gathering for the deaf and the mute in Jing'an District, Shanghai. Unlike most volunteers who learn sign language to help the deaf and the mute, Hao Lan's postgraduate study is linguistics. Sign language is his concentration of research.
Most people are used to auditory language, while sign language operates on another element. It makes use of the hands, such as gestures, finger movements, or the direction of the hands, facial expressions, and the entire body posture. Everyone is involved. With regards to communication between the deaf, they actually communicate a lot of information.
Hao Lan grew up in a multi-dialect region. He is fluent in Kazakh, Chinese, Uyghur, Russian, and English. Sign language is especially captivating to him. Hao Lan often repeatedly watches sign language material he filmed in various places, trying to discover the elusive relationship between social identity and sign language habits.
To research sign language in China, it takes at least 3 to 5 years to master sign language first. I still don't have a clear answer to my research objective, but I can at least see what I can work on, such as researching internet usage for the deaf. There are currently 27 million deaf people in China. This is a huge number, about the size of the population of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. That means there are at least 200,000 deaf people in almost every province.
Hao Lan wants to form a team in Shanghai to create a mobile app for the deaf-mute that can turn sign language videos into pictures, so deaf-mutes can use their mobiles more conveniently while allowing him to collect material for sign language research.
From the perspective of promoting sign language, this is trying to use images to communicate as much as possible.
From a technical standpoint, a mobile app for those with hearing handicaps is completely possible. But there is a lot more to consider to make it a successful product.
Now, my question is, there really is this group of deaf mutes around you, but do you understand them?
Their mother tongue is actually sign language. They may be more comfortable interacting in sign language.
Text information is very limited. It has very poor authenticity, while sign language rests completely on the person signing. It's talking through video.
Facial expression, yes, with additional information in there.
Hao Lan even founded an e-commerce company in Shanghai with several friends from Xinjiang. They do business with the world through the internet. The company isn't large, but it is developing quite well.
In Taichung, most of the young people like us are buying houses and cars, taking care of and making their superiors and parents happy, and taking care of relationships all around them. That means the mainstream circle of life and lifestyle is still very, very closed off.
Hao Lan's hometown, Taichung, was once an important checkpoint on the Silk Road. Today, though, he can only fulfill his dreams in this city of the world on the new Silk Road. The Silk Road is a system that connected Europe and Asia. But some factors are always more important due to geographical reasons. Istanbul happens to be such a city. Here, many people travel across continents to work every day. One of them being real estate businessman Tai Feng.
You can ask any boss here. You may start out in Ankara, but if you want to develop further, you must go to Istanbul.
Looking out from the Bosphorus, this city lies at a crossroads. Istanbul was once the capital of the Byzantine Empire and the Ottoman Empire. Now it is the largest city in Turkey and the only metropolis in the world that spans 2 continents.
My childhood dream was to be a restaurant manager. Then fate led me to another world.
25 years ago, Tai Feng came from a small town in central Turkey to Istanbul. And with the development of the city, he became a real estate developer. Istanbul's geographical advantage ensured its position on the Silk Road for over 1,000 years, but there are hidden dangers here too. The city is located on the confluence of 3 tectonic plates and has experienced multiple major earthquakes over the years. In this city, with a population of 14 million, there is a lot Tai Feng can do. Tai Feng is currently involved in a reconstruction project on Istanbul's Old Town area. This ambitious project will provide approximately 10,000 job opportunities. Once the reconstruction is done, there will be safe residences for 30,000 people.
It will be more professional with the city planning, more convenient and catered to the population's needs, and safer as well.
Istanbul is currently one of the cities with the fastest economic growth in the world. And it is the city with the most millionaires in the Muslim world.
Huge changes are happening in Istanbul every year. It has such a rich culture, like a mosaic. You have many choices, whether in society, in life, or your work environment.
For 2,000 years, Istanbul has remained one of the very few cities on the Silk Road that retained its international influence. Traditionally, famous cities on the Silk Road all have similar inclinations. They need to return to the peak of the world in this process of globalization. As with Istanbul, so is Xi'an. Sculptor Ren Jun is the one to express Xi'an's ambition. After 3 years of communication and commuting, Ren Jun's city sculpture for Xi'an Xianyang district finally has a well-formed direction of design.
Artists always tend to be selfish. They look at the world from their own point of view and attitude as an individual. If I discuss business again and deal with those government officials, you would find me to be a more social figure.
Nowadays, Xi'an has a strong demand for public art like this city sculpture. There are too many sentiments that need to be expressed in this city. In the 20 years Renjun spent creating city sculptures, he also experienced playing different roles in society.
Dismantle it into 4 pieces, then fit them together. That's quicker. When I oversaw the construction, you thought of me as a manager. That's why society calls me Mr. Ren, Master Ren, artist. The opening is a little big. Would it be better to make it smaller?
Cities of the world change due to people's dreams, and actors on the stage also look for their roles and positioning in this tide of change.
I am definitely an artist, with a wealth of roles. I must feel society, feel the government, and feel the change in the country through these roles. And in this process, complete these works of public art.
Every person, every spark, they are all changed due to the Silk Road. It is similar in Xi'an. As a grassroots level manager, only Su Yiting has more practical dreams.
Hi, is this the place to get the stamp for social welfare support?
We manage family planning, labour security, social welfare support, city construction and disability. When I manage to truly resolve these matters that concerns the welfare of the people so much, I feel accomplished.
Su Yiting is getting married in a month. The bride-to-be finally took time off her busy work schedule to try on wedding dresses.
Wow, this looks super glamorous. Anyway, only these two fit me. The others... I think this works. The others are all tube tops. They're not what I want.
That looks nice.
The Silk Road, once prominent for 1,000 years, still has countless travelers infusing fresh energy into it. This is the source of energy for the cities of the world. We have met architects, entrepreneurs, artists, students, and social workers in this journey through space. All of these people have had the chance to connect with the world because of being on the Silk Road. This has also been a journey in time. It has been a window that has let us see how these pioneers' dreams have become part of the cities and their history throughout the ages. Dubai Dragon Mart also saw new changes over time. There are now over 2,000 Chinese business units in the complex, attracting over 10,000 customers from Africa and the Middle East every day. Today, Dragon Mart makes up to $40 billion in trade turnover every year, 40 times that from 8 years ago. Panshangshu Supermarket has become a legend in Dragon Mart, making over 12 million renminbi in revenue every year. The store she bought at 70,000 renminbi back then is now worth 2 million renminbi in transfer.
My daughter is here too and has started her own family here. My husband comes here every 2 to 3 months. My parents are coming in the latter half of the year when it will be too cold in China for them.
After Dragon Mart, another several Chinese trade markets have emerged in Dubai. Panshanshu has been invited to set up new supermarkets in these new markets.
You are our brilliant forerunner. I'm telling you, we need you to support the development of the entire market. We need a supermarket.
We want a corporation with a major share of the market. Small individual shops aren't what Dragon Mart needs now. That was the past.
There are currently over 300,000 Chinese in Dubai, and supermarkets are the symbol of the Chinese community. Panshanshu's fourth and newest supermarket has an area of over 1,000 square meters.
Do you think the cashier should be near the door or the centre? I'm thinking not the door. It's too cramped and doesn't look grand enough.
8 years can bring out a lot of change. Panshanshu is also planning to open a restaurant.
I plan to serve 3 to 4 kinds of cuisine at the restaurant. One is Anhui cuisine. That's a must because I'm from Anhui. People here can also take spicy food, so Sichuan cuisine. Also Guangdong cuisine and Hangzhou cuisine.
Panshanshu connected to the world due to her location on the Silk Road. In Dragon Mart's warehouse, the average daily cargo throughput reaches 30,000 tons. Most of the merchandise comes from China and is heading to the Middle East and Africa. As an emerging city of the world, trade between China and the Arabic world has brought great wealth to Dubai. At a water training base in the outskirts of Shanghai, Hao Lan often attends dragon boat training on the weekends. This sport is similar to the Western sport of canoeing, and teamwork is crucial. Those participating come from all over the world. They work in Shanghai, and some enjoy life here even more than the locals.
So let's do that one more time. I think we're like 80% of the way there.
The bigger the city, the stronger its cohesive power.
As a Kazakh, I grew up surrounded by Uzbeks, Tartars, Uyghurs, and Dawars. After I came to Shanghai, I realized, no, this diversity is even more apparent. There are people from various countries, cultural backgrounds, and professions. They all share and enjoy this city.
On weekends, Shanghai is even more energetic. Many philanthropists and innovative people gather together to organize various kinds of interactions. Here, any innovation may win a bigger audience. At this charitable organization's weekend gathering in Shuhui district, Hao Lan won a 15-minute chance to give a speech.
The deaf community at large currently still don't have much equipment or internet applications that focuses on addressing their needs.
Hao Lan hopes his mobile app for the deaf can become a charity event. If volunteers could spare a day or weekend every week, they can work together to help these people with special needs to integrate into city life and create more convenient channels.
Support this great idea if it is what you believe in. You can find me in person because I will be around. Thank you very much.
Many people are willing to find out more about Hao Lan's innovation. Some want to promote this project from a charitable angle, while some want to discuss the technical feasibility of the app. Only a city like Shanghai can inspire people to realize such ideas.
This urban culture causes more young people of the new generation to give their all, to devote their life and youth to this city. Over time, it will accumulate a rich diversity.
Shanghai World Financial Center, which was completed in 2008, is 493 meters tall and currently the tallest building in Shanghai. Every day, over 10,000 people come here to work. Elite companies from around the world have their offices within these 101 floors, and their influence radiates all over the world. It once towered over all of Shanghai, but it will soon lose its title as the tallest building in Shanghai. Right next to the World Financial Center, the new Shanghai Tower, currently under construction, will reach a record 580 meters. It is expected to be completed in 2013. Architecture symbolizes a city and is the solid history of a city. In Shanghai, various new architectural feats have become symbols of Shanghai. Here, you can find some of the most unique architecture in the world. It is also a golden era for architects.
No, Jinzhou. Yeah. You know, if we don't have a contract, we're going to have to stop.
American architect Yeager has been working in Shanghai for 9 years. He has witnessed how China became the biggest and most important client in his multinational firm.
In my mind, it's the role of the architects and the urban designers to give those calculations life. to bring the uses together, to make the buildings talk to one another, to create spaces that people will enjoy.
The firm's architects came from all over the world: London, Tel Aviv, New York, Hong Kong. They take part in architectural projects around the world. In the afternoon, a software engineer from London is recommending a new drawing software to his colleague in Shanghai over the internet. Jaeger, who came from Connecticut, USA, has started to learn to use chopsticks and is gradually adapting them to the cuisine, climate, and living environment in Shanghai.
I'm getting ready. I'm almost ready to go.
Jaeger's job requires him to spend large amounts of his time on business trips around the world, but the center of his life can only be in Shanghai. 3 years ago, he bought an apartment in a high-rise on Shanyang Road.
And we walked onto this balcony, and I immediately knew that I had to live here. I had to live in this unit because of this view.
From his balcony on the 26th floor, one can see the architecture architects from around the world left in Shanghai over the past century, where the past meets the future.
And down through the front, you can see the historic Lilongs and the historic city that hopefully will be here forever.
As an architect, Jaeger has good reason to become Shanghainese.
I've been here for 9 years. I'm in my late 50s. I still have a long career ahead of me. I want to stay here in Shanghai, and I want to practice my craft, and I want to stay and live here.
In Dubai Dragon Mart, the throngs of shoppers have left. The Chinese community is enjoying the coolness of the desert night. Traces of Chinese life can be found everywhere in this Middle Eastern region at night, both unique and tranquil. In the supermarket, all the staff are gone for the day. Pan Changshu is still going over accounts. In her 8 years in Dubai, Pan Changshu has always been the last to leave her little shop almost every day. Where there is a Chinese community, there is dancing on the main square. The more people there are, the faster the tempo of the dance. Regardless of the unique smell of the desert and the bay in Dubai's atmosphere, from a visual and auditory perspective, this is just the same as any night in any Chinese city. Dubai and Xi'an are so vastly different. There are 2,000 years between the histories of the two cities. In the ancient city of Xi'an, night at Hui Place is as lively as ever, filled with bustling tourist crowds. Su Yiting's fiancé also grew up in Hui Place. Their new house is basically renovated and ready.
Theoretically, the Hui people must marry their own people. Religion is quite important to me. We must have a common goal. I am willing to contribute to my ethnic group.
The wedding is carried out as scheduled. The traditional Muslim ceremony is both solemn and joyful. In this 8-hour journey through time and space, we saw how through the millennia, people have worked hard to scale mountains and cross over deserts, to explore places suitable for residing in and search for the destination of their dreams. The experienced partings and reunions shouldered various mental and physical challenges. And deep in the remote mountains and hidden in the crowded metropolises, they composed their respective melodies of life. Our ancestors trekked over such a road to transport treasures, products, faith and courage to each and every place. Today, the Silk Road is welcoming a historic moment of revival. As globalization is underway, this is still the most important component of the world economy and the most energetic region. This is also the home of the heart. Every person has their own Silk Road. Infinite distances, countless people, unspeakable joys, unmentionable sadness, all weave together to become legends that never stopped playing. Dreams, curiosity, and the courage for exploration keeps the Silk Road alive and prosperous through time and space.